Hi everybody, I'm Jack Jinseki, and joining me today is Captain Antpez.
Hello.
So, Captain, what kind of content do you like to make?
I tend to make a good amount of content, different kinds of content for the most part. But what I kind of enjoy doing mostly is like voice acting stuff. So I tend to, try to find games that involve like a lot of dialogue to voice.
Hmm,
So visual novels is a good example,
nice.
and JRPGs. So yeah.
Hmm. See, I've done some stuff like that in the past too, but the thing is that there's like a line of like too much dialogue and not enough
Mhm.
gameplay, and I want to not jump over that line because it gets to be like too much for me. Uh,
So there is a good way of balancing that, and that was actually something I did last year, which I'm in the process of editing VODs. Luckily, I have an editor now to take care of that. But hosting visual novels itself, yes, you're absolutely right. There's a difference between having a distinguish between too many lines and not enough gameplay, and visual novels are very guilty of that. What
mm.
I've learned is having people hop in with you to do voices makes it a lot more entertaining because y'all could just bounce off each other and ad lib lines the entire time and basically turn it into a fan dub.
Mm. Yeah, because I don't do visual novels, but what I have done a lot in the past is point and click adventure games. So like all the
Yes.
all the classic ones. I'm sure you're familiar with Monkey Island,
Yep.
uh,
Yep.
Day of the Tentacle, that kind of thing. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with point and click adventure games. It's just
oh, of course not.
I'm in that same boat. I mean, sometimes it can be a little stale.
Yeah. Uh, so out of curiosity, where did you get the name Captain Antpez from?
It's literally my first and last name.
Ah.
And I'm not kidding, and I've stated in my streams many times because I have no problem sharing my name. My full name is Anthony Lopez, so it's literally the first
Ah.
three letters of my first name and the last three letters of my last name. And the reason why I have no problem sharing what my full name is because Anthony Lopez is basically the John Smith of names of Mexicans.
Yep. I don't doubt that for a second. So what made you want to be a VTuber?
So funny enough, I actually started off streaming on webcam. It wasn't until I met Cosita underscore, who is my co-host for the VTuber Lorecast.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were doing they were a PNG tuber when I first met them,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew nothing about PNG tubing. Like I had a vague idea about VTubing, and, like the models and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But that I don't think I could ever do anything like that until I met Cosita through just rating random people. He was a PNG tuber, and that kind of opened up the door for me because being a voice actor, I had a lot of characters built up for like D&D and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into trying out being a PNG tuber at first, and I had a ton of different models at that time so I could utilize my voice acting ability to make characters.
Mm-hmm.
um, Through that kind of made me want to eventually look into like into a VTubing model because I want to be able to try to show a little bit more expression and things of that nature. I'm still trying
Of
to
course.
get puppeteering down a little bit, but that's still training in progress. uh, but yeah, no, I give my credit to Cosita underscore because they basically opened the door for me with the PNG tubing stuff that allowed me to get into voice acting
Hmm.
even more. Yeah.
Nice. And what was the process for creating your character?
It's literally me again. I literally went simple on this. So when I first started streaming, I went so when I first started streaming, it was just like a good chunk of people. Uh, Pandemic. I started
Yep.
streaming during the COVID era because I was getting bored, and at the time of work, I'm like, you know what? What if I mean all I do is play video games? What if I just start streaming?
Mm.
And then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, if I started streaming, why don't I just dress up like a pirate?
Mm.
Because I have a story with that for myself. When I was a sophomore in high school,
Mm-hmm.
I had dressed up like a pirate uh, for Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Yep.
The problem was the movie didn't come out till May. So from Halloween, so from Halloween, because I dressed up like a pirate for Halloween, till basically the release of Pirates of the Caribbean 3, which was in May, I dressed up like the pirate for basically the entire school year. So that's my history with being a pirate. So when I started streaming, I just said, fuck it, let's go back. Oh, yeah, sorry. I should have asked before. And it was swearing allowed
Oh,
or
oh,
not.
oh, yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay,
Go for
cool,
it.
cool. Okay. Yeah, so I just basically said, fuck it. And I'm like, I'm going to start streaming. I'm going to dress up like a pirate. Uh, when I first started doing it, I even tried doing the pirate accent and trying to maintain this voice the entire time. Eventually, I stopped doing that because I'm like, okay, this is becoming a little too much for me right now, and it's a little strain on the voice, just a little bit. I'm just gonna just be myself, and yeah. And then when I started swapping over, I'm like, well, basically, what happened is during the pandemic, there was a time where I had quit my full time job and decided I would take a chance at like DoorDash and Uber Eats because
Mm.
I was learning people were making bank off of that, and
Mm-hmm.
setting your own hours and things of that nature. So I did that. But the caveat to that is when I started doing that, I realized that even though, yes, you can make your own schedule and things of that nature, um, it really is a job that you have to have a set schedule.
Mm.
And there's peak hours, which was usually the lunch hour and the dinner hour. So at that time, I was still trying to stream, and this is still when I was on webcam. I was essentially changing outfits 3 to 4 times a day, and
Wow.
that was just becoming too much. So eventually, I even stopped doing the webcam, and I was just doing the gameplay video with just the voice only. And then that's when I met Cosita underscore, and then learned about PNG Tuber and figured the ropes out for that and started doing that because it made it easier than having to change my outfit 3 times a day.
Mm. And so, are you still doing the Uber Eats, or are you?
No, no, no,
Oh,
no,
good.
no, 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 no. Unfortunately, everything started going back to normal, and then when everything started going back to normal, the delivery side of things kind of took a dive, and I wasn't really
Ah.
making any money off of that. But I still technically am doing delivery work. Just I'm doing it for a company now instead of being an independent contractor.
Well, but that's much better, isn't it? Because
It is.
yeah.
No, it is a lot better. And especially with the company that I'm working with, it's a union job, and
Mm.
surprisingly, which is why I got sold on it immediately, is they offer pension,
Oh,
and
wow.
that's unheard of nowadays. So I'm like,
Co-
yeah, sign me up, sign me the fuck up. You can offer me
yeah.
pension? Hell yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah.
You basically accidentally tripped into a pretty good job.
Yeah, exactly. And I think because since I was doing, because I think the DoorDash and Uber Eats, I think that helped me get into that job.
Mm.
Not only that, but because one of my friends' mom was the one working there, and that's how I had even heard about the job.
Mm.
But I think because since I did DoorDash and Uber Eats, having that delivery experience on my resume helped me secure that job. Because
Mm.
before that, I was just doing warehousing work for 10 years.
Wow.
And I mean, even having that experience has helped me out a lot with this job because I'm basically, as much as the older drivers won't admit to it, I'm probably one of the better drivers there. I'm probably one of the better workers there because I'm the one that figured out the system more than anyone else in there. And now they're asking me to be the trainer, even though I'm telling them no.
Hey, congratulations, man. Uh,
Hmm.
so, oh, I have a feeling. I have a feeling you'll have an answer to this question. Do you have any lore?
I do. Even though the character is completely based on myself, there is lore that I came up with. So basically, I'm just a humble pirate that happened to come across some magical beans. The
Mm.
thing about these magical beans, though, is that they apparently allow you to travel to different worlds and different dimensions. Uh, because of that, I had found a nice hearty crew, uh, like Mortimer Moneybags and Zotar the Barbarian and Granny Woodcutter. Unfortunately, I don't know where they all went. They
Mm.
kind of disappeared ever since I found this mysterious rock that kind of, made this. That,
Mm.
I mean, before I was very standstill and, not as movable on camera. Now I'm able to like move around and show off movement. But because of that, all of a sudden my crew completely disappeared, and I don't know what happened to them. I'm kind of looking for them, not hard, but just trying to enjoy life at the same time.
Nice. So, what's your favorite moment from being a VTuber?
Honestly, I'd say my favorite moment was the first time I actually did a casting call for the visual novel that I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So when again, a lot of this, like he's gonna hate this so much because I always end up talking about him more than myself. So Cosita underscore again, he started things off doing a visual novel collab with the Great Ace Attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because of that, it kind of helped me open up the door of trying that out for myself. So I started off with the Zero Escape series. Um, and
Yep.
the very first game that we did was the 9 hours, 9 doors, 9 persons. And I did that with just, my friends and the ones that I've connected with through VTubing. So a lot of friends with that Cosita and I both know essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, the second game, I wanted to take it a step further. And the second game was the first time that I ever held a casting call for myself because I've always been a voice actor. So I'm the one that's always going out and doing these auditions and things of this nature. This was the first time that I decided to, put myself in a casting director chair. Um,
Mm.
so the second game, I had about half people that were streamers and that I've already known, and the other half that were completely voice actors that know about streaming but didn't really know streaming.
Oh dear.
Um, so doing that, it was a nice way of meshing both worlds, and it kind of helped realize for myself that maybe this is something that I actually enjoy doing,
Mm.
where I can push streamers into voice acting because a lot of the people that I work with the streaming never done voice acting work and never had experience with voice acting work, but because they started doing this, they started getting an interest in voice acting work,
Mm.
and vice versa. With voice actors never doing streaming or had an interest in streaming, they were getting into that field of streaming. So one of my proudest moments was basically essentially building a community between voice actors and streamers and kind of bridging a door between those two worlds, because I mean at the end of the day, streaming and voice acting, they're kind of the same thing. We're trying to build ourselves up and trying to make a name for ourselves. So my proudest moment is being able to bridge that gap, because some of the voice actors that were in my collab, uh, they're starting to stream a lot more. A prime example I can give is Box Trees. She goes by Variety Jess on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't really stream, but she had like her own podcast. I shouldn't say she has. She still is part of the podcast.
Yeah.
She has a podcast called Opinionated Lushes, which is a very big podcast. They've won a couple awards in Canada because they're a Canadian-based podcast.
Oh wow.
But I've noticed that she's been streaming a lot more, and I feel like, and I could be wrong, but for me, I feel like that the doing the visual novel collab kind of helped open that door to streaming a little bit more. And then same with like voice acting. Rin Yamako, they've been more interested in pursuing voice acting, so they're like trying to get things set up. And then like my mod Sean Trotta, which I Sean Trotta, oh my god, he He came in as a backup voice actor for anyone that couldn't make it for the week. He would fill in for them,
Mm-hmm.
but he blew down the doors for every role that he stepped in, and he has so much commitment that he's always in my streams. I actually did make him my mod. He's probably like my best mod too, because he's there constantly and doing things.
Mm-hmm.
But he's kind of been coming to me about streaming questions as well, because we all kind of encourage, like us and the group in general, we're like, he has potential of being a very great streamer, so he's kind of looking a little more into that. So yeah.
Nice. So, what makes you unique as a VTuber?
That's a tough question. That's a loaded question.
I love this question.
That's such a loaded question.
I love this question because it always takes people like, I don't know. No one's ever asked.
Yeah, no, I mean that's true, and I mean the funny thing is you get the generic response of like, oh, we're all unique, we all have our own things, but then when you have to think about it, it's like, oh shit, what does make me unique? Um, um, I, for me, I think the thing that makes me kind of more unique is just like I I feel like I'm one of those very few VTubers that is very encouraging on pushing people to try out new things. So
Mm,
again, like trying out the voice acting. I mean, you're part of the Eldenwood as well. I've already had a couple people messaging me about how to get into voice acting through
mm,
Eldenwood. And like, even though I'm not a big voice actor. Like, I'm not a professional. I'm one of those big wigs. I all the jobs that I've ever done for voice acting have always been unpaid. I'm not a big voice actor, but
mm,
I I love I love voice acting, and I love getting people into voice acting just as much as I love getting people into streaming. So I think the thing that makes me unique is I feel like I'm one of those few people that will, if you come to me and ask me questions on how to get into a certain field, I will 100% back you up on it and push you and give you the resources that you need. Um, because I, I'm not in. I say this to everybody in my Discord group. If I go up in the world, I want to bring everybody up with me that has been there with me, and
mm.
that's always been my motto. Is if I go up, everyone else should be going up with me. That's it's simple as that. And that's something that I'm actually trying out this year too, because before I've kind of taken streaming more as a hobby. But just recently, I am now debt free. I don't have any more credit card debt. Um,
Congratulations.
I thank you. It's that's been an ongoing thing for so long, so it's different. And I've actually noticed it these last couple of weeks how much of a difference it's made. But
Mm,
one of the things I want to try this year is, since I don't have that credit card debt and I have a little bit more spending money, I want to put it back into streaming, and I actually do want to attempt to make something of it. Um, which is why I make like this schedule now. Before, I'd always just be like, I'll stream whenever I want. Now I'm like,
mm.
no, let's make a consistent schedule now, and try to push myself a little bit.
Nice.
And then of course I tell people same thing. Like, if I go up, I want to bring people up with me. And I I don't want to leave people behind.
So, kind of in that same vein, what do you hope to accomplish through your channel?
Right now, the biggest goal for this year is, since I am able to put a little bit more money into it this year, is I want to make improvements on the channel just in general.
Mm,
So right now, like, I'm getting even more emotes, even though I don't have the space for emotes, but
mm,
I'm taking the steps to work on things towards the channel. So I'm hoping like this year I'll have like an actual stream layout, because the one that I was using before, it wasn't bad, but I felt like it was taking up a lot of space and
mm,
away from like the gameplay and stuff like that. So I kind of want to make like a new layout. I might be looking into possibly getting some toggles for the model to kind of help more with the range and motion and things of that nature. But just this year alone, since I'm able to do things, it's just basically general improvements. That's the goal for this year. Like I said earlier, I'm finally able to hire an editor, so getting some of the VODs edited, getting some clips edited, so that way like clips can look good. I probably will make a TikTok again. That will just be like a clip TikTok for the most part, but it's just I'm taking those steps to this year to make improvements, and that's always been something that I do every year. I always try to look upon what I can make better every year, and then this year I'm kind of like pushing it even more than I usually push it for. Because before I was always like one or two steps. Now this year's like, okay, I have I have this money. Let's just go all in on
Nice. Okay. What would you talk about with your favorite VTuber?
it. So funny enough, because I know this is a thing where everyone has like a favorite VTuber.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a favorite VTuber that I'm not friends with already. Because, like I said, I got into VTubing because of Cosita. Cosita will always be my number one favorite VTuber, even when they deny it every time.
So in that case, what would you talk about with Casino?
um, we always have running gags about him being a bunny. I've been trying to cut back on that since he's upgraded to being a space mercenary. But I mean, I like talking to him about just general things, life, things to improve upon. I mean, we kind of have like small discussions every now and then about other things, but it's just we're talking about like how to improve ourselves for the most part. I've talked to him about like workouts and things of that nature once or twice before. But yeah.
Nice. Cool. So, what might you see a VTuber doing that would instantly make you want to watch them?
Ooh. Hmm. So for me, the thing with me in general is I don't really watch a lot of other streamers. I like to lurk. I'm a big
Mm.
lurker. I do like to hop in and lurk a lot of times. Um, for me though, I have so much going on. It's difficult to actually sit down and fully watch someone.
Uh,
So that's why I'm a big lurker. I like to support by lurking. Um, but typically, what helps me be involved more with the chat is just general conversation for the most part. Like if something gets said that I want to reply to, then I'll like reply to it, and then sometimes that
mm,
starts a general conversation, and then like it pulls me away from whatever I'm doing because like I said, I do things on the side. So like half the time when I'm lurking, if I'm lurking on somebody's channel, I'm like doing voice acting on the side. Like I'm looking for auditions to go voice act, and then I go record in my booth and do that while lurking in the background to support. Um, but if there's stuff like I'm just working on in general at my computer and I have it on the background, like I'll have the speakers going because
mm.
I'm changing the thing where I'm not wearing my headphones all the time because yeah. uh, so I got a speaker so that way I can like work on things while not having things overloading my stimuli. So that way I can still listen to things. But
Mm.
it's just for me. I like I like having conversations and listening to conversations and things of that nature. Um, so
Mm.
yeah.
Nice.
But if there's like some a big event going on, like if it's a stream, if it's a like an affiliate anniversary or things of that nature, then usually I will try to stop in for like those big events and like sit down and watch for a little bit, and then eventually go and do my own thing, but leave the lurking in the background. But for the most part, I'm a big lurker.
Mm.
I like to lurk in the shadows.
And what advice would you give to someone who wants to be an entertainer?
Being your generic authentic self, that's my biggest thing. I mean, yes, It really depends on what you're wanting to do. If you're trying to build a character and like use that as your leverage of things of that nature, you
Mm-hmm.
can absolutely do that. But then you got to remember you have to be that character 24/7. That's the truth. And I mean,
Mm.
like
You don't want to be stuck with the pirate voice forever.
exactly. I mean, the Takahata 101, he actually said this. He like VTubing is just professional wrestling.
Mm.
The thing with professional wrestling is before, the internet and all that stuff where we can see all the backstage stuff, there is a thing called kayfabe
Yep.
where the wrestlers had to be them. They had to be their character even outside of wrestling. They had to be that character 24/7. And again, if that's something that you want to do, go for it. 100%. If you feel like that's what's going to create entertainment, then do it. But I think, and a lot of pro wrestlers say this too, just be your generic self, but turn that generic self up. Just turn it up even more. Like
Mm.
just be yourself, but just turn that up so that way you're building upon yourself. Because like for me, my prime example is like I'm not that much of a talkative person, surprisingly, even though I've been talking a shit ton right now. IRL, I don't really talk a lot. I kind of
Mm.
keep more to myself. I tend to be more to myself and kind of being more of a listener, and providing feedback where I can.
Mm.
Um, but I'm also an actor, so I like to be performative and say funny things every now and then. So, like for me, being talkative and things of that nature, when I first started streaming, yeah, it took a little bit to get into that phase. But then I kind of learned it's like I just gotta be myself, but just turn it up. That's all I got to do.
Mm. Be you, but more so.
Exactly. Just to be yourself, but just turn that knob just a little bit. Just be more of yourself, but just more exaggerated.
Okay. What was the first anime that you feel really connected with you?
Ooh. Okay. So, growing up, the first few like growing up, we had Toonami.
Yes.
So obviously, some of the animes I grew up with, like there's Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
And here's the thing, Dragon Ball Z. Yes, I did grow up with Dragon Ball Z, but the thing is with when I was growing up, Dragon Ball Z was usually on when I was at daycare. So there was a lot of times where I didn't catch the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
The anime that I always did end up trying to catch and would usually always get caught up, and this is gonna be funny, and I don't know if people would remember this one or not, but Tenchi Muyo. That the my basically my first anime was a harem anime.
I, I'm, I have to tell you this. Okay, so in case the audience doesn't know, I sometimes do multiple interviews in a day. I had an interview about an hour ago. He said the same thing.
It was such a good anime. A lot of people probably don't even realize how good of an anime it was. And the other thing about that anime though too is like they had different seasons, but every season was different essentially. So
Yes.
like the seasons would reboot themselves, which made it different. So when you're first watching it, yes, it could be very confusing when you finish one season and then going to the next season and it's like they're doing reintroductions of all the characters again. But
I,
it was a fun anime.
I, I, uh, I remember when I first figured that out, and because I watched, I think it was Ryo-Oki,
Mm-hmm.
and I had I had sort of a crush on Ryoko, and
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
and her whatever her character is just changes like every single time. What is
Yep.
she supposed to be? I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, it changes every time. So yes, every season you get it confusing. But like that was the anime that I usually end up catching a lot when I was younger. Was that one? And then obviously there was Dragon Ball Z as
Yep.
well. So funny enough, I want to say it was like fifth grade or going into sixth grade.
Mm-hmm.
I somehow found because at that time it like I had cable, but it was one of those cable things where it's like it's cable slash antenna a little bit.
Mm.
Um, I somehow found the I somehow found an anime channel on cable, but it was like one of those. It was one of those channels for me where it was like very staticky, but like if you get it just right, you can get it just
Yep.
right. It works out.
Yep.
I somehow found the Majin Buu arc before they released it on Toonami. Couldn't understand a goddamn word they were saying, but I was able to watch it. So when it finally came out to Toonami, I'm like, hey, I remember this episode. I was like, what are you talking about? This just came out. I'm like, no, I remember Gohan wearing that as a teen. Like, how did I watch this episode?
I and you talk about like getting stuck with a voice. How about getting stuck with Vegeta's voice?
Yeah, I can't do a Vegeta voice, unfortunately.
I remember going to see an interview with Chris Sabat, the guy who does Vegeta, and he basically said he created the voice, and now he has to do it forever, even
Yeah.
though it's just so rough. It's so rough on your voice to do that all the time.
I mean, it's just a matter of practice and getting those vocal warm ups in for the most part, because there's been plenty of characters that I definitely have done roughly, but then once you do it enough, you're essentially building a callus for yourself in a sense, but it's still kind of like you want to make sure to do those vocal warm ups at the same time, so that way you aren't training yourself. Because one of the things that I had to learn is some of my voices I was doing through the throat. You don't want to do that. You always want to do things through the sternum. So kind of readjusting it, it's like, oh, okay, there's a voice. Now, how can I push that to go downwards but still sound the same? And it's just practice. That's all it is.
Oh, absolutely. Which anime had the best music?
Oh, honestly, with what's going on in my head right now that I seem to find myself a lot of, Chainsaw Man and Don Da Don, the first season. Even the second season, like the music inside second. I didn't really care for the intro as much for second season, but like Kiyoshi's Haunting Soul, I really want to cover that song. That song's so fucking good.
Nice.
But I would say, honestly, I really like the Chainsaw Man because they always had different music for their credits, and it was always just really, always a bop. So I feel like Chainsaw Man has really good music. There was another anime that I had watched that was actually music based. I think it was called like Beck the Mongolian Chop or something like that. I'd have to find it again. It's weird because I read the manga before I saw the anime, and then when I watched the anime, I'm like, oh, this is cool. I like this music. It's good. But yeah, I'd say Chainsaw Man.
Don Da Don was great because the band that did it, Creepy Nuts, also did another song for a show called Mashal, which is also great. So, and I found out about Mashal through Don Da Don.
Okay.
Because I have this theory that you can typically tell whether or not an anime is good based on how good the opening is.
I would agree with that 100%. There has been plenty of time. Actually, a prime example, Beastars. When that first came out, I was like, oh, it's a furry anime. Oh, I'm not going to be interested in that, whatever. And then the opening for season 2 came out, and everyone was covering. I'm like, damn, this is really good. You know what? I should check out this anime. And then I'm like, fuck, this is a really good fucking anime. Fuck.
Yeah, I have found there is at least one exception to the show. I will say, I know that this might be an unpopular opinion for some. I am not a fan of Solo Leveling. That being said, oh, sorry, you go.
No, go ahead.
The opening for Solo Leveling, the first one, is just such a fucking bop. It is so good. It is so very good. I don't know how they did it, but it's great. Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
Funny enough, I still have not watched Solo Leveling. The only media that I have consumed about Solo Leveling is the anime boys and British version of it. Was it the Solo Sister or Solo Sister level or whatever it is? That's the only media of solo. I'm kind of interested in checking out solo leveling just because of that abridged, but at the same time, like, man, this bridge is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, no, the thing about solo leveling is the first episode is really good and really hooks you in. And then
Okay.
the rest of the show is about this guy, the main character, progressively becoming the world's greatest edgy boy. Uh,
I'm sure we've had plenty of animes like that.
yeah, moody. I'm pretending to be stoic, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And it's real. This is my opinion, of course, but I found it really dull. I found it really dull. But the opening is magnificent.
Okay, okay.
So check that out if nothing else. Uh, anyway, sorry. If you could, this is I'm interviewing you, aren't I? Anyway, if you could go to an anime convention tomorrow, whom would you cosplay as?
Funny enough, I've never been to an anime convention.
Oh,
For me, like, I get the appeal of anime conventions. I
mm,
understand why people want to go to anime conventions. For me, that's never really been appeal for me for convention wise. Most of the conventions that I tend to go to are like the video game conventions, so like
okay.
PAX. I've gone to a Comic Con every now and then. I haven't really gone to a Comic Con in a while, but I like going to like PAX and the video
Mm,
game conventions because I've just always been a gamer and stuff like that. Because
mm,
I like to go try things out. That's
yes.
my thing. I like to go try things out with the Anime Expo. Like, I get why people go to Anime Expo. They want to go to Anime Expo to, get the autographs, get the photos, get all that kind of stuff. I don't really have an interest in any of that. It's never really been my thing.
Well, if it does,
But like,
oh, sorry.
if I was to go, a lot of the times I'm trying to sell myself. That
Yes,
sounds weird when you say it like that, but
dude, you would not be the first. Trust me, you would not be the first person who said I want to cosplay as myself on this show.
well, that's the thing is like, the last convention I went to, I didn't cosplay as myself because I was just kind of like, I want to just go for the heck of it. But
Mm,
the year before that, I did go dressed up as myself,
mm-hmm,
because literally I have the outfit for my model already. I've had the outfit for my model.
mm,
So most of the time I just go as myself. The thing that I'm trying to do right now, or what I plan to do, again with the goals and things of that nature, I'm in the process of getting a voice acting demo. So I do want to. My plan is to get business cards, so that way when I go to these conventions and find out like, oh yeah, we're looking for voice actors, I can hand them the card and be like, here's my demo.
mm,
So um, there could be a possibility of me going to an anime convention in the near future. I know there's been some where they do like really big. I think Bang Zoom Studios. They'll do like these big voice acting audition things at some of the bigger ones. I think they're anime conventions. I'm not entirely sure. So
mm.
there's a good chance I might go to one of those.
Well,
Probably not this year, but maybe next year.
Well, if it makes any difference, I've been to a few anime conventions now because I just started going to conventions in general last year.
Mhm.
So, but I will tell you that one of the recurring themes of them is they usually have a very significant gaming element to it. So they'll have like entire rooms just dedicated to like board games and stuff like that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So, you know,
I do like those. I do enjoy
yes.
board games.
So, which game did you have the most fun playing on stream?
Oh, most fun playing on stream. I've played so many games on stream. um, I did have a lot of fun with the Zero Escape
Mm,
collab. That was a lot of fun because it was just people hanging out and reading this ridiculous script of a game that featured a lot of Critical Role members, but we just
mm,
ended up making it more fun and funny.
nice.
Um, oh man, that is a really tough one because yeah, I've I've played so many, and I actually had to redo my about section on Twitch because the list was just starting to get so long that I just end up just making an Excel Google Drive like, here's a tab. You can click on this to see all the games that I've played. And yeah, it's a long list because I mean I've been streaming since 2020, so obviously I've played a lot of games. Um,
If you have like a few that immediately pop into your mind, you can just shout them all out.
I mean, thinking most recently, I really liked this demo that I just recently played because I'm starting to do a lot more branded content slash sponsored streams through Keymailer.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I just recently played, Rune Dice, I really enjoyed that one. That was a lot of fun. Um, that was a really good one. I had a lot of fun with that one, and that one was like a really simplicity game too. So like it didn't really have like a lot to it. So it was a lot of me just chatting with chat while I'm just throwing dice around. I did have a lot of fun
Nice.
with that. Um, uh, yeah, that's probably the first one that I can think. I just recently started playing Spyro the Dragon again. That was fun. I
Nice.
did enjoy that. Um, Rebirth. I really enjoyed Rebirth.
Hmm.
I'd spent like 6 months playing that because I just had somewhat time, and that's when I was doing longer streams. Even though yes, there was a lot of side kite to it, but the freaking Queen's Blood. Oh man, I got hooked on the Queen's Blood so badly. Queen's Blood
Nice.
was so good. I got hooked into that. That was a fun one. Um, God, I think those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. My first stream of playing Black Flags was fun. I did enjoy that, even though there was so much scuff. That was my very first stream was playing Assassin's Creed Black Flags. Um, Super Mario RPG, that always holds one to my heart because that was a game from my childhood that I really loved.
Of course.
Um, Sea of Thieves is always fun.
Uh,
The only problem with Sea of Thieves is like it's one of those games you can't really go like, oh, I'm gonna play this game for an hour because every time you play Sea of Thieves, you're at least playing at least a minimum of 5 hours.
I I mean you are a pirate VTuber. If you can't be a
Yeah,
pirate VTuber and enjoy pirate games, then what are you doing?
yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, no, I do really enjoy Sea of Thieves, but the thing with Sea of Thieves is that like just sitting down to play one session of Sea of Thieves is a commitment because that
Hmm.
it is a very it can be a very long game because you have to like and when you're ready to finish it you have to get back to the homeworld to deposit all of your treasure before you actually end the game. So yeah, that game tends to end up being like a 5 hour play session at least.
Okay, on to the more random questions. What's a song that you can't help but dance to when you hear it?
Well, let me pull up my Spotify really quick. I got a few of them that I end up just like. So with me, it's like dancing, but I also really like to sing. The one
Hmm.
that really immediately comes to my head is "Living in a Haze" by Melky Chance. That's one that
Mm-hmm.
I've been having on repeat a lot lately.
Hmm.
Another band that just recently came into my playlist, literally like last year, Royal Republic.
Mm-hmm.
They're a rock band that recently came in. I have a lot of the songs. Like as soon as I play them, I'm like I'm good to go. So anything by Royal Republic has been an instant gets me in the mood. Um, yeah, that would be. You know what? Just to make it simple, I'd say anything made by Royal Republic.
There you go. Uh, what's your favorite chill out movie?
Oh God, a chill out movie. I don't really watch a whole lot of movies. I'm so committed. The thing with me is I never really have time for anything, so it's like it's hard for me to like engage with media. And especially because I did find out that I do have like sleep apnea, so I have problems of like staying awake, especially when like watching movies. Um, but for chilling out and just throwing it on the background, it really depends on the mood, honestly. Um, I don't. Yeah, it's just really dependent on the mood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a TV show that's kind of like that, or maybe there's a.
TV show, yeah. Right now I've been watching The Rookie.
Mhm.
That's kind of been what I've been getting. I'm actually almost caught up on The Rookie. But that's what I've been putting on lately was The Rookie. Um,
Mm,
yeah, that's probably the one that I've been putting on in the background at the moment. I
nice.
spent a lot of time just throwing random YouTube videos up, like
Gotcha.
Dead by Daylight lore. I really enjoy like throwing on Dead by Daylight lore to just listen to while I go to bed.
Nice. So what's the strongest reaction you've ever had to a movie or TV show?
Terrifier,
Hmm.
the very first Terrifier. That had to be the first movie that I ever had to go. I have to turn this off. This is way too much. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Terrifier.
Mm-hmm.
It was the scene where he was basically sawing the chick in half with a rusty saw.
Mm.
And they were actually showing it. I saw that and I'm like, I can't. No, I gotta. I'm done. I'm. This is way too much for me. I did eventually go back to finish it, but I never saw the sequels. I'm like, I think I'm good with the first one. I don't need to see anymore. Here's the thing. I absolutely love Art the Clown. Like I love the concept of Art the Clown, but watching the movies is just that was way too much for me.
Yeah. Uh, what's something crazy you've always wanted to try doing?
Oh man. I would really love to get like on a racetrack, like a
Mm.
NASCAR racetrack, and just drive really, 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 really fucking fast. Because I already do like to drive fast.
Mm.
I'm always going at least 75 and a 60. I'm always driving fast. I mean, yesterday I actually had a moment where I got really pissed off because uh, a driver cut me off, which made me slam on my brakes, and I
Mm.
had Taco Bell in the seat. So of course, when I slammed on the brakes,
Oh.
everything flew forward, and like I
Oh.
lost half of my food. So I was pissed. So I'm like, fuck this, and I started going fucking like 95 and swerving in and out of traffic. Doing the things that you shouldn't be doing as a driver and shouldn't be
Yeah.
admitting
Yes.
to.
If you're watching this in the audience, do
Yeah,
not
don't.
break the law.
Yeah, don't break the law. Yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
not speed. Do not do anything illegal.
Yeah, don't do what I did and be swerving in and out of traffic in 95 an hour.
And if any police are watching, this is all hypothetical. This is all kayfabe right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Definitely wasn't shooting cannonballs out of my car or anything.
uh, uh, in in the less criminal side. No, I'm kidding. Uh, what's something you've made that you're proud of?
My community. That's
Hmm.
I'm very proud of the community that I've built upon and the people that have come into my life through streaming. Yeah, no, I'd say I'm very proud of my community. I don't really have any issues. I like my community has always been very chill. Even with my streams, like I don't. I'm fortunate, and I mean, I'm always knocking on wood that I don't ever have any of those problems that come in with a lot of streamers face, like the hate raids and things of that nature. I am fortunate enough to never had to experience that, and I think a lot of it involves the community that I've built and has come into the my life.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. Uh, what's your favorite holiday and why?
I don't. I'm not a big holiday guy. I used to be when I was a kid. I used to be a big holiday guy when I was a kid, but growing up, I really stopped caring about the holidays. Um,
Mm.
for me, I guess I would say Halloween.
Mm.
That would probably be the strongest holiday that I would probably most correlate to enjoying is Halloween.
Nice.
Um, I used to say Thanksgiving, but now it's just kind of more like I just like to eat, so not really Thanksgiving. And then Christmas, like when I was a kid, absolutely love Christmas. As an adult, I hate Christmas. I despise Christmas. Um, I well, there's many reasons why I don't care about Christmas. The first one is my birthday's literally a week right before Christmas, so
Yeah.
trying to
That.
celebrate my birthday, never, yeah, it's never good. Because if I do it the week before, everyone's doing their holiday parties. If I do it the week after, everyone's buying their last minute Christmas shopping.
there,
uh,
there's there,
but my
there,
partner's done a good job of celebrating it. So
there's always a lot of hidden resentment with December birthdays.
hmm hmm well, and my thing is too is like I with Christmas in particular, the thing is everyone gets so stressed out. It turns into this whole thing of like I have to get a gift for somebody. I have to get a gift for someone. That for me, I hate that.
Mm,
I hate that we have to be so focused and be like, oh, I have to get a gift on this day, or like, oh, what should I get them? For me, I view gift giving as a thing where like if I see something that reminds me of a person, then I'm
mm,
going to buy that item and give that to them. I don't care what day it is. It could be a random Tuesday for all I care. If I see something that makes me remind me of them, to me, that's what a true gift is about.
mm,
Um, and a prime example I have of that is there was one time where I was working in one of the shops that I was stopping in. They had like this hot dog wiener dog stuffing.
yep.
And my partner parents, they used to have a wiener dog,
Mm-hmm.
and it reminded me of my partner's parents. So I bought that and I gave it to them like the very next day. And this was like I think it was like just the middle of summertime. It's probably like August or September. So something that there's not even a holiday on, just a random day. And they absolutely loved it. And they love that stuff because it's more of the thought process of, like this reminds me of you. Here you go. I bought this because it reminded me of you. That's what gift giving should be, not
Mm.
I need to buy a gift because it's Christmas. Look at me going through my spiel about Christmas sucks.
I will tell you that I kind of do the same thing. Is I'll see like something in a store and I'll be like, oh, I want to give that to like my mom or something,
Yeah.
and oftentimes it too is a stuffed animal because I have an enormous soft spot for stuffed animals.
hmm
Uh,
hmm
and my mom had to request that I stop buying her stuffed animals.
That's funny.
Oh God. Anyway, uh, enough of that. What's the most beautiful place you've ever seen?
Oh man. So last year I had won a trip to the Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at a resort and just, being on the beach. It was so pretty being on the beach and like actually
Mm.
like having that kind of water where it's like nice and clear and not like polluted or anything.
Yeah.
That was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
Wow.
Um, yeah.
Uh, would you ever talk to a stranger unprompted in a public setting?
Nope. 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 I like I stated earlier, like yes, I can be very talkative on stream. IRL, I am the most quiet person, and I am so introverted and so shy. Like I I don't approach strangers. It's terrible when trying to get a date.
Oh, I feel your pain. What's your what's your earliest memory?
My earliest memory, it's funny enough. I can't remember the exact age. I know I
Mm-hmm.
was very very young though because my parents were still together at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But my earliest memories was basically living in an apartment complex and just playing outside.
Mm.
And this is when my parents were together. It's a very vague memory. I know there's not much details to it, but like I can still like remember like going up. The thing is, I'm trying to figure out where that apartment complex is because I still live in the state that I basically was raised in, and I'm trying to figure out where that apartment complex is because, funny enough, where I'm living now, it's still kind of like where my childhood was, which I think that's probably why I have strong memories of a lot of growing up since I was a kid because I'm still
Mm-hmm.
kind of in the areas that, you know, make those memories click.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, no, I have plenty of early childhood memories. At least since I want to say 5.
Mm. Uh, who is someone that always makes you laugh?
Bert Kreischer. Every time he's got a new special, every time I go to his comedy shows, I'm just cry laughing every time. Um,
Is that the guy who takes off his shirt?
yes, it is.
Yep.
It's the
Okay.
machine.
The
Yep, yep.
machine.
The machine. Yep. I actually do have a really funny story. I've been wanting to like make a clip of it and tag him on it, but I actually have a very funny story of a dream that I had about Bert Kreischer. So basically, what happened in this dream was I was dreaming. This was a few years back, and this kind of when I was still doing delivery, but also kind of like in the face of doing delivery. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, in this dream, I was making a delivery to this house, and apparently there was another delivery driver there too. And I had already beaten this delivery driver there, and I saw them getting out of the car, but they didn't have like a hot bag. So I was trying to be nice to this other drivers. I'm like, hey, I see that they have cameras here. You can borrow my hot bag really quick. Put your food in this and go up. That way you can get a good tip. Go ahead and do that. And then they're leaving. I'm like, I'm trying to get my hot bag back. I'm like, hey, can I get my hot bag back? And this guy was fighting me on it. I'm like, what the fuck? No, this is my hot bag. And sure enough, Bert Kreischer comes out of the house and then starts getting in my face and being super aggressive with me. I'm like, no, Bert, I'm super fan. I really like you. I'm a huge fan. And it's like the complete opposite of what you see of Bert Kreischer. It's like, no, you gotta stop doing this. And like, eventually, I did wake up of him yelling at me. I'm like, what the fuck was that about?
And
Why was I getting yelled at by Bert Kreischer?
never meet your heroes, not even in a dream.
Apparently, no, but no, he's super cool. So the last show that I went to, actually, I probably shouldn't talk about it because he's like, don't put this on the web because there's a lot of stuff that happened in that show. I don't think he's going to be invited back to that arena, by the way, because yeah, but it was an entertaining show to say none the least.
Okay. What's your favorite thing that you've ever cooked yourself?
Ooh, so I really need to get fucking sponsored by them. So I have Every Plate right now
Mm-hmm.
because everything is expensive and Every Plate's super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a few good meals from them. I'd probably say my favorite thing that I've made from them is a broccoli cheddar tortellini soup.
Mm.
Because I really like broccoli cheddar soup.
Yep.
And then throwing tortellini in there. Oh, that's so good. But the thing with the Every Plate is like you're making everything from scratch. So it's like I make the soup from scratch. Um, so yeah, I'd probably say the broccoli cheddar tortellini soup has been my favorite thing to cook.
Nice. Did you hear that? Every plate. This has been his. This has been Captain Antpez's audition.
Right? Look, I've always stated
Give
it many a times. I will go tooth and nail for Every Plate because here's the thing. Every Plate just recently raised their prices to it. And I'm like, oh man, I'm probably gonna have to leave Every Plate and look at the other meal kits because I like getting the meal kits because I don't like doing grocery shopping. That's mainly what it
yes.
is. But like I was looking at prices and Every Plate, even though they raise their prices, they're still the cheapest option. Um,
Mm.
and I always say this too, and I'm pretty sure they have no problem with me saying this, even though it's whatever. Every Plate is basically the sister to HelloFresh, so all the ingredients that you get is literally from HelloFresh. I've gotten many packagings that have the HelloFresh labels on them in my
Oh.
Every Plate boxes. So
Huh.
like, if to all those HelloFresh users, if you have HelloFresh, you're looking for something cheaper, go to their sister company, Every Plate, because it's literally the same thing but cheaper.
And give
And that
this man money.
Yes, give me money.
Okay. Now on the other side, what's the worst thing you've ever cooked yourself?
That I've cooked myself. Hmm. It's tough to say because I'm pretty good about following instructions. So if I ended up cooking something bad, that means that either the ingredients were bad or the directions were bad.
Mm.
Actually, no. Okay. Anything that's a one pot recipe, for
Mm.
whatever reason, if it is a one pot recipe, I don't know what it is about it, but it always ends up tasting burnt. So
Hmm.
I can't do one pot recipes for some reason.
Hmm. Oh, that's interesting. I've never had that problem with. Although what exactly is a one pot recipe? What?
So a one pot at least the one that I remember cooking is like when you're putting everything in the pot at the same time. So like putting in like uncooked noodles to cook with the broth and then other
Okay.
ingredients with it. And so it's basically you're putting everything in the pot to cook
Uh,
essentially.
eh.
But I don't know what it is for me in particular, but every time that I've tried making a one pot, it always tastes burnt, and I think it's like the broth or the soup particularly that
Hmm.
makes it taste burnt. So I don't know what it is about one pot recipes, but I can't do one pot recipes because I
Hmm.
they just for whatever reason they always taste burnt to me.
Hmm. Okay. You find $50 in the street and there's no one around to claim it. What do you buy with it?
Um, Funny enough, I have $50 in my wallet and I still haven't done anything with it. I don't. So the thing with I've talked about this previously before. I don't really buy anything with cash. I buy everything with credit cards.
Hmm.
Um, because of reward points.
Hmm.
So I literally have I've talked about this before on my stream. And again, I'm not a financial advisor or anything of that sort, but I have about 9 or 10 credit cards,
Hmm.
and all of them serve a purpose. So I have a credit card for like restaurants and going out. I have a credit card for like airlines. I got credit cards for random bills. I got a credit card for Amazon. I have all these different credit cards. None of them have any balances on them too. That's the important thing. But I have all these different credit cards because of reward points.
Hmm.
Um, because you can save up those reward points, and that's literally what I do is I just save up those reward points to either a finance some of the bigger purchase items that I need for streaming, because like right now I've been trying to save up for like a VRC model.
Mm-hmm.
Then I took that out of the bag so I can I just recently upgraded my mic, not my current mic, but like I have an aux mic now.
Mm-hmm.
I have a booth, all that stuff. So the aux mic, the analog control for the aux mic, the uh, booth that I bought to go with it, and the mic stand. That total came out to like over $1,000 or something like that, or pretty
Wow.
close to $1,000.
Wow.
I didn't spend a single dime.
Wow.
All of it was on my all of it was from credit card points. Literally, that $1,000 purchase, I didn't spend a single dime. All of that was on credit card points.
Wow. So, what's your favorite animal?
My dog. My dog. I got a doggo. And honestly, he means the world to me. Funny enough, I wasn't even a dog person growing up. I was always a cat person growing up. But
Hmm.
no, my Leo, he snuck his way into my heart because he acts like a cat. So he's a cat dog basically. But
What breed of dog is he?
he is a multi-pool, but the thing is like because of him, like I have a new appreciation for dogs. So like
Hmm.
there's a few stops on my route that I do that they have doggos, and like I'm always like, oh hey buddy, how's it going? Oh you good boy. Uh, so yeah, I I'd say my doggo is at least my favorite animal. If we're not talking pets though, oh man, I'm trying to think of a sea animal that stay on brand. uh Yes, hell, man, that actually is a tough one. Now that I'm thinking about it, what is my favorite animal? I do like panthers. I really do. I really do enjoy panthers.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, I do enjoy panthers a lot.
Hmm. So, if you could wake up with one talent tomorrow, what would it be?
One talent, huh?
Hmm.
Does audio engineering count? Being able to edit your audio and stuff like that. I would love to have that. Yes, that's a talent that I can learn, and I'm trying to learn that. But if I could just instantly have that, that would be great. Or you know what? The other thing, just instantly knowing another language. That's a talent. I
Oh
consider that a
yes.
talent.
What
I'd say
language?
fuck, I'll take any language at this point. I'll take any language at this fucking point. We do have a running gag in my home because like I don't speak any language. My last name is Lopez and I can't
Mhm.
even speak a lick of Spanish, and yet my partner who is white can speak better Spanish than me. And that was fun when we went to the Dominican Republic and everyone came and approached us and saw my last name and immediately started talking to me in Spanish while I just stared at their blank face and I just pointed to my partner and like, no, she's the one that speaks it. And they look at her, I'm like, what? And then she just immediately goes into Spanish, and they think she's the best in the world. I'm like, yep, that's the way that should. There we go. We got. Honestly, I want I would like to think that we probably got so much better service because of that. So.
Oh, that's funny. Uh, which decade's aesthetic vibes with you the most?
Oh, decades aesthetic. Oh, I mean, I I still really enjoy the '90s.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, because that was the year that I was born, and I mean, I feel like the '90s was that nice because like the '80s was like the very highlighted colors and things of that nature and things of that nature. I feel like the '90s decade was that kind of nice in between where it's like still vibrant but like starting to go more into like that more casual style where
Hmm.
I'm not a fashion person. If that has become obvious, I don't know. I could probably be saying the most dumbest things that aren't absolutely true. Maybe the '90s fashion was completely ridiculous, and I don't even know.
Well, if it makes any difference, I ask this question all the time, and the '90s is the most popular answer.
I wonder if it's because a lot of us grew up in the '90s.
Yeah, it
It
could have something to do with it.
might have something to do with that.
Mumble, mumble, mumble.
Yeah, I'd say '90s. I mean, I also honestly, even though yes, the '80s did have like the very bright aesthetics and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like the '80s, or is it the '80s? Or maybe I might be thinking of the '60s. I might be thinking of the '60s with like the leather jackets and stuff. That
Mm.
might be the six. I might be thinking of the '60s.
Whenever I think of the '80s, I think of like Eddie Murphy with the leather suits and stuff.
Yeah. I might be thinking. Yeah, you know what? I might be thinking like the '60s, basically like the greaser days, where it's like the leather jackets,
Yeah,
blue jeans. That might. Yeah, I might be thinking '60s.
yeah. The greaser thing would have been more like the
Yeah,
'60s.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I will. Yeah, no, I will say that I did enjoy that aesthetic too because it was very like simple,
Mm.
um, and like simple can look very nice too. So yeah, yeah. You know what? I'd probably go like the '60s probably.
Nice. Uh, I mean, hey, look who you're talking to. I'm not going to argue against leather jackets. Uh,
Oh man, I miss my leather jacket. I used to. So growing up, I actually did have like an actual leather jacket.
hmm.
And then I made the mistake of giving it to an ex that I decided to move out of state. And it's like, oh, well, I've never seen that jacket again.
Yeah.
It's that jacket. I had that jacket for so long. It was such a good jacket.
I actually designed this character with the leather jacket in mind, but
Nice.
I didn't own the leather jacket, and then this year I bought the leather jacket. So
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to find a good leather because the leather coat that I have for like my cosplay, it's not real leather. It's one of those like fake leather, so it's
yeah,
very stiff still. It's like, eh.
word of advice: be sure to check eBay because here's the thing.
Mm.
So I got a bomber jacket. They
Hmm.
don't
Hmm.
really make bomber jackets with the fleece lining anymore.
That's
So
true. That's true.
So I had to look on eBay because if you want one, you can find them, but you have to pay like $1,000, and I'm not paying $1,000 for a jacket. So I got one on eBay for less than $200.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't have a, well, especially now that I don't really have any debt, I wouldn't have a problem doing like $1,000 jacket only if it's like authentic leather. If it's like a
yeah,
fake leather and it's $1,000, like what the hell am I paying for?
yeah. No, the big one that people talk about now is like shearling, I think is the word. I don't even know what it
That
means.
sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know anything about jackets. I just know what I like.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
uh, do you collect anything?
I actually just recently had this question asked on my Discord because I have one of those question of the day bots, and I think that was one of the questions this week actually is if I collect anything.
Ah,
I I don't really collect anything. If we had to say that I collect anything, I mean, look, if I turn around right now, I have a bookshelf with a lot of D&D books,
hmm,
but I don't want to say that I collect D&D books because all the D&D books that I have are character related stuff. So like character race or a character background that just came in or a new character class. Uh, Whereas like for me, a collector is basically someone that's like going out and making sure they collect
hmm,
everything of that thing. So I don't necessarily collect anything in particular.
hmm,
I used to do collector editions for video games. Like I'd have a lot. I still have a ton of collector editions in a storage unit that I need to get rid of somehow
yeah,
because they just take up space. So I used to do collector editions of games a lot, and then I kind of eventually got to the point I'm like, why am I spending $200 and $300 for games that I'm not able to play because I don't have time for, and I
hmm.
don't have the space for all these statues and collectibles. So yeah, collection wise, I'm like trying to look around my room to see if I actually do have anything in here that is collectible. And yeah, the only thing I can really look at is my bookshelf with all my D&D books. I mean, I got a couple of the Twisted Tale books. I do
Hmm.
really enjoy the Twisted Tale books. That's probably the only books that I read. Um, yeah, I don't. I'd like to say
That's fine.
I don't really collect anything.
That's fine. I mean, in your defense, there is the perfectly valid answer. Do you collect anything? Nope.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So my final question for the interview: what smell reminds you of home?
Funny enough, I don't really have a sense of smell. I kind of lost my sense of smell. I lost my sense of smell because in high school, I did have a cat that I was responsible for, taking care of the litter box.
Mm-hmm.
Being a teenager, didn't really do that. So my sense of smell kind of got burnt out
Hmm.
due to, aroma. um, for me, though, I really love the smell of the beach.
Hmm.
And that's a legit thing too. And that's probably why I won't like ever move away from the West Coast is because I really like going to a beach and I really enjoy the smell of a beach.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just that sea air. I really
Hmm.
enjoy that, and I think I'm definitely a water person. I
Mm-hmm.
actually got to go on like a pirate ship too, and like sail on a pirate ship too. So that was really fun and cool. But just feeling that breeze and all that. So
Hmm. Wow, that's really cool.
hmm.
So, that's all I have for this interview. Thank you so much for doing it with me. I've had a great time. Uh,
Of course, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
and if you're in the audience right now, you will find links to all of Captain Antpez's various socials in the description to this video, as well as in the side chat. I'll be posting them there too. And that's all I have for today. Uh, I was your host, Jinseki, and joining me today was Captain Antpez. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.